I see is Kondanai Kiao, who wrecked his bike this morning.
Okay, here is the starting grid. Andy Farid is the heart on pole position alongside Karel Idampawi in the Boonshu Honda. His teammate Azri Hakim on P3.
And leading the second row is Nakarin Atirat Puvapat. Next to him, Helmi Asman in P5 and Ratapong Wilrot for Yamaha Thailand in P6.
It really is a strong starting grid because down in row 3 you've got yesterday's winner, Ibrahim Noruddin, alongside Irfan Ardiansa from Astra Honda Racing and Galang Hendra Pratama from Yamaha Racing Indonesia.
And in P10, Krichapon Kausonti, who wants to make up for his crash yesterday, is Amit Mal, who set the start of the race alight yesterday in P11 and 12. Kondanai Kiao, who wrecked his bike this morning, as I was saying, but they seem to put it back together. That was an egg beater of a crash. It must have flipped over 5 times before it landed. So let's hope the young Thai rookie can get up and enjoy this race.
See, our graphics team had got an up-to-date picture of Isam Iqmal with natural blonde hair. So it's a strong group of racers. There's 9 who you would think, given an equal run at things, would have a genuine chance of winning the race. You've got real quality. Andy Farid and Pawi have got international experience. Chip Nakarin, I know you rate very highly. Ratapong is a Thai champion. Ibrahim won yesterday. Galang Hendra, international experience. Some great riders out there.
Yeah, in fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 of those, or possibly even 6, have international experience. It's really impressive, this field, and the racing is really tightly fought, and I can't wait for this race to start. It was such a good race yesterday.
Won yesterday by a really strong performance from Ibrahim Noruddin. This is his home circuit. He races for the SIC team, the Sepang International Circuit team. And there is his manager, Zul Helmi, who's a bad racer in his own right.
Very much so. Also international, distinguished international experience by Zulfami.
How do you see this one, Barry?
I see Andy Farid featuring more in this one. I see Nakarin featuring more too, because it's taken them a while to get used to the changing characteristics of the track. And
there's our guest
Ibrahim.
of honour, by the way, Dato Haji Abdul Hamid bin Hussein.
Yeah, I think Ibrahim is going to... He's on good form. I wouldn't bet against him taking a double.
Right.
We'll soon find out.
12 on the grid. 10 laps of the Sepang International Circuit. Red lights are out and we are underway, and it's a solid, clean start from Andy Farid. Andy Farid then was just pulled away. Helmi Asman's made a decent start as well, Azroy Hakim as well. Andy Farid is the heart. Who's that?
Oh, and he's down.
Is that Azroy Hakim? Azroy Hakim Anwar is down and out on turn number 1.
That was a real rodeo for Azroy. He almost held it, but that was just bucking too hard.
And then there were 11.
Disappointing for him after a great 3rd place yesterday. Let's take another look.
Oh, gosh. He does brilliantly to hold on to it for so long, doesn't he?
Yeah, but then he just touches. I think he touched Krichapon, and that sent him down. So Boonshu from 3 bikes down to 2 now.
It's a reminder, they are powerful beasts, these 600s.
Oh yeah.
You get something slightly wrong, the balance slightly wrong, you are in trouble. In the meantime, Andy Farid has lost P1 to Karel Idampawi.
And that's Nakarin through to P2, so him showing a little bit more, and championship leader by a fingernail, Helmi Asman in P3.
It is Nakarin, isn't it? Chip Nakarin, who pride of Thailand in this particular race, trying to stay close. Karel Idampawi is not far behind as well. Great to see Pawi back and fit. But Andy Farid, you made the suggestion you thought he'd figure just a little bit more prominently. He certainly made a super duper start.
Yeah, you can see that Ibrahim just touched Azroy and caused that problem for him. So was race winner yesterday that sent Azroy down. Sorry to say. Serious look there from Fahmy.
Kids in the background can't resist smiling.
Yeah.
However, back onto the racetrack, the serious stuff goes on.
Yeah.
Andy Farid has a lead of 3/10 from Helmi Asman and Nakarin Karaladin Pawi. 8/10 down in P4. Ratapong is keeping up with the pace as well. The Yamaha is just stay in contention, Ratapong. That'll be objective number one, just to try to get his season up and running.
Yes, for sure. So far, so good for him. And Andy looking pretty strong at the front there.
Nizam Iqbal is in P7. Ibrahim Noruddin has dropped down to P9, so clearly he was affected by that incident with Azroy Hakim, who I believe has got back on his bike and is racing.
Yeah, we didn't see the start line fireworks from Nizam this time, but perhaps we'll see what he can do over race distance if he just turns down the aggression a little bit.
Andy Farid still leads the way. Race number 4 of the season. Helmi Asman leads the championship. Helmi Asman, by bike number 32, leads the championship by a single point from Ibrahim Noruddin. The likes of Karaladin Pawi on 42 points, Andy Farid Izdar on 40, and Chip Nakarin on 39. They want to have a say in the agenda.
So at the moment we have a group of 5.
Glad to see he's watching our coverage.
Yeah, well, we have a group of 5 at the front, with Ratapong just about holding on to that, and Ibrahim adrift at the moment in P6.
And Galang
with
Hendra
somebody just
also
behind
adrift,
him.
huh?
Yeah.
Galang down in P8. Yamaha's not quite up to racing speed, which means Ratapong is going to have to work exceptionally hard to stay on the tail of these front 4, and you can already see the straight line speed. He's just losing a couple of meters, which soon translates into tenths of seconds.
Yeah, Ratapong doing what he can to catch up under braking. Let's watch the next time round to see what he can do through the twisty sections. We know that Yamaha handles nicely.
But Andy Farid leads from Helmi Asman, 0.2 of a second. Chip Nakarin in P3. Karaladin Pawi in 4. Ratapong is being dropped. Ibrahim Noruddin's got himself up ahead of Pritchapon and Nizam Iqbal. Irfan and Galang Hendra's struggling. Down into P10 now.
Yeah, not so good for him. And what has happened to Condonai? Don't think he's there.
12 seconds down, it's at the tail end of that group at the very, very best. Helmi Asman holding on. He wasn't part of the real leading group yesterday. 5th position, Ratapong Willerot going backwards.
Yeah, he just got well out of shape, and that has pushed him a little bit further back. He's going to fall into the clutches of fellow Yamaha rider and yesterday's race winner.
It's almost like he has to push too much to keep up, because he hasn't got the straight line speed. He has to try to do something a little bit special, and that just looked like he was pushing too much.
That's definitely right. You often see that on riders whose bikes are not quite on the pace. You often see them pushing a little bit too hard, losing time, and sometimes even crashing. But Ibrahim is on the move, so let's just watch his progress. He's currently he was 3.2 seconds off the lead. Let's check it next time. Andy Farid, for the moment, reasonably comfortable, but his fortunes changed at around half distance as tyre wear came into play. And by the way, it's the front tyre wear that's been more of a problem than the rear, according to the Dunlop tyre technicians. Dunlop running a brand new tyre to give more stability this season, but it's the one that's been causing problems so far.
Andy Farid has been leading from the get-go, but he's under a bit of pressure from Helmi Asman. As coming through into P3 is Chip Nakarin. Kip tries the switchback, doesn't quite work, so the positions remain the same. But you were just seeing that Ibrahim is closing in very definitely on the Ratapong. In fact, he's only 1/10 behind the Ratapong and will soon be in P6, P5.
There he goes.
There he goes, Ibrahim Noruddin. He did this yesterday. let the race come to him. Love that phrase, Barry.
The phrase of the weekend. And we'll have to pick a rider of the weekend at the end, Des.
Indeed. Well, Norridin will be a potential contender.
He's a candidate, as is Andy Fadley. So let's see what he can do.
Andy Farid tries to put himself into contention. As Ibrahim Norridin, who started off in P7, dropped as low as P9 at one stage, has worked himself up through the pack, now into the top 5. And the differential between him and Chip Nakarin is about 1.7 seconds, but closing.
Yeah, you've got two groups of 2 now, distinctly so. With Helmy just cruising nicely behind Andy Farid. Both on Hondas, both on beautifully prepared Hondas. Not much to choose between them from a technical point of view. Let's see what the riders can do with the tyres.
Andy Farid is the horse, still holding on. As you say, it was around about mid-race that he began to get a little bit of tyre degradation.
Yeah, and Helmy had a job of catching up to do after a poor start yesterday, and that caused him problems. He probably shot his tyres while he was catching up, and there's another rider down.
That's Izam.
That's Izam.
Izam Iqbal. He isn't coming out. That's a deep gravel pit, and he walks away. That bike will need to be picked up and taken back to the garage for some repairs. An interesting weekend for Izam Iqbal. He's a young lad competing in this 600cc's for the first time. Learning all the while. One lesson, not to go into the gravel traps.
Yeah, there's 2 crashes today. He had a heavy crash in warm-up, of course.
Andy Farid's lead by 0.2 of a second. They are increasing the lead over Khalid Mpawi. He's just posted a lap time of 2:10.4.
Yeah, but the colour purple at the moment belongs to Ibrahim Norridin.
It does, doesn't it?
Colour purple, for those of you without a timing screen in front of you, means the fastest so far in the race. And the fastest speed top speed for Ibrahim Norridin, 262 kilometres per hour. Oh, that is quick. That's about 10 kilometres an hour quicker than anybody else.
Khalid Mpawi, in the meantime, tries to hold on. He's got himself a little bit of a gap ahead of Chip Nakarin. So that suddenly appeared. Ibrahim Norridin is now right on the shoulder of Chip Nakarin. Gosh, he's doing it. He's doing it again, Barry.
He is. Yeah, this seems to this is turning into his trademark. Yeah,
more than half the race to go. There's plenty of time for him as he comes up the hill. He knows this circuit so well, of course.
Yeah, and remembering that he started in P7, but yeah, this is home turf for him. I first saw him here in 2017 in the KTM RC Cup, and he was impressive then. Full of confidence, really fast.
Well, he's going to have a tow as well on the long straight, so we could well see him make a move into the top 4 in the next, I don't know, 500 meters or so. He's right on the tail there of Chip Nakarin, and he'll get the tow. We're looking at the battle for P4 at the moment. Andy Farid has been leading since the start. Helmy Asman has been dragged with him. Khalid Mpawi has tried to get there, and Ibrahim Norridin does indeed slide his way through to P4. Good switchback though. Nicely done by Chip Nakarin. It's not that easy, but he's up to P4, and Zulfami looks on approvingly, one suspects. Yesterday's race winner now in P4 and just 1.5 seconds down on the race leader. It was 3 seconds down, and at the front Helmy Asman's taken Andy Farid Izdar.
And we are just at half distance. So yeah, Helmy was pushing Andy on that last lap, and now he's converted that into P1. What can he do? He's looking pretty comfortable there at the front.
Well, Helmy did well to rescue a P4 yesterday, 13 points, which in a season of 10 races, every point matters. Oh, that's Ratapong. Frustrated with himself, tries to lift up the bike. As Kondanai and goes past him.
Also Ratapong's second crash of the day. He crashed in warm-up too. So he's trying everything.
He's the defending Thai 600cc champion, or the BRIC champion. But doesn't often translate, or doesn't automatically translate onto the Asian scene. Khalid Mpawi has closed up on Andy Farid, and Ibrahim Noruddin has closed up on Karol Idampawi. That's a four-man race now. Chip Nakarin trying to stay on the end. We are approaching halfway. We're just actually beyond halfway of this race.
Yeah, Pawi now trying to have a nibble at the man in front of him, Andy Farid Izdihar. And you can see some daylight now. Let's see how that looks as they come on to the final straight before turn 15. Because Helmi Asman is looking quite good since he got past Andy Farid.
Again, eyes focused on the yellow helmet of Ibrahim Noruddin, as he's not close enough to make a move on Karol Idampawi, but he is right on the back wheel now of Kip.
And after this lap there'll be another 4, and Helmi will be conscious of the Jaws theme playing in the background from the Red Yamaha, and trying to get away and not wanting to get up in get himself into a battle that could slow him down and allow Ibrahim to catch up, but Ibrahim's coming.
How easy is it to conserve tyres, to make sure that your tyres are good for the last couple of laps? Because nobody's been racing as such, nobody's been flying into corners, but nonetheless the tyre degradation will be consistent and constant.
Yeah, I think one of the clever things that Ibrahim's done so far in this race.
P3. Ibrahim inside Karol Idampawi for P3.
Yeah.
One or two nervous nails being bitten in the Bunchu Honda Racing camp there.
Yeah, he's on his way now into P3. And what I was going to say was one of the clever things he's done in the way that he's caught up is he didn't go nuts to catch up. So he conserved his tyres while just managing to go fast enough to get in touch with this group.
Helmi Asman leads. He's Malaysian. He knows this circuit very well. Andy Farid Izdihar has got tons of international experience, so he knows how to conserve his bike. He's also backed by the Astra Honda Racing team. So it's the Bunchu Honda and the Astra Honda, but it's the Yamaha of the SIC Racing, Ibrahim Noruddin, that is making those ominous approaches.
And behind those three, 2 former Grand Prix stars, so anything can happen.
Karol Idampawi hasn't been dropped, but you're looking at the top speed once again at 262.8 from Ibrahim Noruddin. His straight line speed is phenomenal, and he's going to close in on Andy Farid soon. Helmi focuses on just getting the right line. Andy Farid nice and tight, and Ibrahim slides off. Ibrahim Noruddin.
And there's a shock. I think he was just watching what was happening in front of him.
Well, that tells everything, that picture. Ibrahim Noruddin goes out of contention, having worked his way back into contention.
Let's just see what he does here. He's locked the front. There it is, it folds and down he goes. There was no way he could get that back, and he's off. So a less than perfect performance, and the storybook changes.
And you can almost feel the relief in the riders in front of him. And Karol Idampawi will receive a big boost from that as well.
Yeah, it seemed like they were holding their breath almost, waiting for Ibrahim to come through. So the fairy tale hasn't continued for Ibrahim. Helmi gets twitchy as they go through that section, and Andy Farid pushes. He's in better shape than he was at this point in the race yesterday, and Karol Idampawi just behind them. Nakarin again just behind, a second or so behind Karol Idampawi, so out of touch unless something goes wrong ahead of him.
Ibrahim Noruddin has got back up on his bike, and so he'll pick up at least 8 points, which again might be important. He'll be chasing Galang Hendra, but he's got a 5-second differential there, but that's further down the standings at the moment, this is the battle for P1. And it is Helmi Asman and Andy Farid Izdahar going for it. They have been 1-2 right the way through this race. Caroline Powie in P3. Nakarin probably hasn't got the pace. Will have to settle for 4th unless there's more mayhem in front of him.
Yeah, and I'm guessing now that their tyres are pretty much shot, but they've all been running at about the same pace. They're clever riders. They won't have shot their tyres by now. So it's just who can manage the worn tyres.
Going tighter is Andy Farid, using the camber of the corner. Going in with 2 laps to go is Helmi Asman. Helmi, a reminder, is the championship leader.
And just looking at the power battle, there are of course 3 Hondas in the front group here, so nothing to choose between them. Helmi Asman's got the slowest top speed so far, interestingly.
Just conserving the tyres, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Bike number 32 still leads. Andy Farid Izdahar, much more consistent from Andy Farid. He was fastest in qualification. He had a good first couple of days here and then fell off the pace in the first race yesterday, but very much back in position now. Caroline Powie looking for back-to-back podiums. A P2 yesterday.
Yeah, this is a good race for Andy. This is putting his championship hopes in a realistic space.
We're focused on the front 3. 4th is Nakarin, 5th is Irfan Ardiancia, 5th is Galang Hendra on the Yamaha, 6th is Kritchapon. Ibrahim is chasing Kritchapon and has 3 seconds to make up on Kritchapon if he wants to pick up 9 points for the day.
Yeah, if his bike isn't too badly damaged and it didn't look too bad, then hopefully he'll do that.
There was Ibrahim. He'll be kicking himself. He'll be fuming with himself.
Looks like the bike's in just about perfect nick. Who we got coming through now?
And this is Ajroy Hakim Anwar, who crashed out as well. He's also got himself back up. May as well pick up points if you possibly can. Absolutely. We had to wait a long time. Patient camera work. Back up at the front, Helmi Asman leads the way. Andy Farid, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun last lap. Yeah. Andy Farid moves to the front for the first time.
It could be that Helmi doesn't want to lead,
went
but
wide,
he's gone
and Helmi,
inside.
What's the drive out? And Caroline Powie might take advantage. Those two are scrapping.
To the line. Andy just got. Yeah, Andy had it that time.
Last lap.
And it's the next time around that counts.
They are just about level. Andy Farid and Helmi, and Powie is back into the reckoning. In fact, Powie is into the lead. Has he been leading before, Caroline and Powie?
No.
Has he been holding himself back?
That's his first look at fresh air in front of him, for sure.
They come down the hill round corners 1, 2 and 3. Right-hander, and Powie has suddenly powered away. Andy Farid hunkers down in P2. Helmi, for so long a leader, is now the chaser.
Coming into the last turn, who can tell?
Here is Carol Idam, and still holding on.
Yeah. Yeah, you still can't call this. Look how tight that is, and Helmi's pushing at Andy Farid now. And they've still got some way to go.
Andy Farid was working very, very hard there. As Carol Idam has
Helmi.
the lead, then Helmi makes a move back up,
1, 2, can he hold it?
Yes, Helmi Asman holds on, and there's 3 in a row there. And then Carol Idam is able to hold on the inside. Helmi tries to switch back himself. Andy Farid, oh, this is going to be mazy right till the end.
Oh, who's going to... Helmi still holding it. Andy Farid taking a look. He's nice and close, and
it's down to this.
Just gonna, the decider is coming now.
Right, the chase is on. Who gets the toe? It's the lead for Helmi Asman. Andy Farrad goes wide, tries to take the inside line. Andy Farrad, can he hold on? Carolee Dampawi tries to come through on the inside, but Helmi Asman has got the line perfectly, and Helmi Asman is going to take the victory from Andy Farrad. Carolee Dampawi in P3. Superb corner 15 from Helmi Asman.
Perfect. Look how pumped he is with that win. And that's Irfan.
Irfan Ardiansa crashes out on the last corner.
Oh, a late tumble for him.
That's good news for Ibrahim, who'll come in P6. Galang Hendra in P5. Nakarin in P4. But Helmi Asman, well done. The way he dropped from P1 to P3, then they battled right the way through on that last lap, and he just held his nerve on corner 15.
That was the maturity that we're seeing now from Helmi Asman. Yesterday was disappointing for him. He gets congratulated there by Chip Nakarin and almost runs off to the grass in the process. But that was wonderful. Little stoppy for the marshal. That's wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Really popular rider, as you can see, Helmi Asman. Look at the joy on his in this rider's body language. Fantastic. Galang Hendra was, who was in 5th place, was 18 seconds off the lead. And there's undoubtedly a disappointed Ibrahim going through, but 6th place after slipping off is not a bad result. But it's not as good as this, as we see more fist pumping from the nice little crowd that's turned out here today. They've been rewarded by a nice little home win here.
Confirmation, Helmi Asman takes the victory by 800th of a second from Andy Farrad. Carolee Dampawi comes in P3, 0.4 down on the race winner. Chip Nakarin in P4. Then, after the slide off from Irfan Ardiansa, Galang Hendra in P5. Ibrahim Noureddin will pick up 10 points for P6. Kritchapon finishes the race, as does Azroy Hakim. Both had crashes earlier on. Irfan Ardiansa, he got back on his bike as well after sliding off on corner 15 to finish 43 seconds down. Kondanai will pick up points as well. Difficult weekend for the EAS team.